What is up, everybody? It's the weekly Pass the Rock show. We got the NBA Finals later this week. If we can live through 2 weeks, it seems like with no basketball, obviously it's the same during the Super Bowl. We'll talk about that in a second. We'll welcome Zach to the stream. We'll give away some gift cards. We got two $10 gift cards we're going to give away. Here's Pass the Rock.
Could one of y'all pass the gosh darn rock? Hey, yo, I'm trying, I ain't lying, and hosting this will be Brian. Yeah. Posting like Kobe Bryant, flying to see the pie. Yeah. Hit the hezzy, we got Jesse, opinions get kinda messy. A fan of out of lefties, from football to racing Jeffy. He go silly when he go deep, sheesh, is Zach Zeman. Teaming up with Jack, we stack the whole team, man. Pass the rock, don't stop the shot clock. Smack the slap shot, come on, now let's talk. Pass the, yo, partner, pass the rock, for real.
So the name of this show, prepping for the NBA Finals. So a bunch of NBA Finals talk. But Zach, looking at our outline, there's a smorgasbord of stuff going on. We got NFL contract restructuring. We got Darren Waller, who knows what's going on with him. The NBA Finals, some games on the NBA app, and College Football 25 major gameplay trailer. I know you're excited about this. With all that going on, did you spend all weekend watching NCAA baseball?
Honestly, I've been paying a lot more attention considering that our two schools could match up. If LSU wins tonight, we could get LSU against West Virginia in our first ever super regional, by the way. So pretty happy I was able to watch a couple of West Virginia games. I watched a couple other games around. A lot of upsets, knocking out some like the higher 2 seeds, like some notable programs are out, but really excited to watch more NCAA baseball and hoping that we get that West Virginia LSU matchup. So we'll be jawing at each other for the next couple of nights.
Absolutely. That'll be fun. What seed was West Virginia a 2 seed? Or
we were the 3 seed. We were the 3
seed.
We were
to come to Alex Box Stadium. There's no way we don't make it to the college.
We were a 3 seed, and we were in a regional with 3 conference champions, and we are the ones who came out on top. We had the Pac-12 champion, the WAC champion, and the Conference USA champion. All of them fell to West Virginia.
Nice. All right, thanks, J. Lau, for posting the $10 giveaway here in the chat. All you have to do is type PTR. You're eligible to win $10. All right, so gift card of your choice. So let's get going. Let's start in the NFL. We got Justin Jefferson with a major extension. So, do you think that this extension, now it came first, is it going to be higher or lower than the CeeDee Lamb extension?
Oh, I mean, considering this is Dallas we're talking about, Jefferson's contract should end up being lower than CeeDee Lamb's. And honestly, I'm a little surprised it even took this long for Jefferson to get the money that he deserves. I mean, he is unquestionably the best wide receiver in the NFL. I don't think there's really an argument there. But you had a few other wide receivers get their extensions a little bit before this, and I thought it was like, once Justin Jefferson signs, then we're going to get a bunch of the big signings. And yes, there are still some big names yet to receive their contracts, like CeeDee Lamb, like T. Higgins, like eventually Jamar Chase. But, I mean, I really think those contracts are going to be bigger. I think Justin Jefferson set the market for what a elite number 1 wide receiver should be paid. And we're going to see a lot of these contracts get bigger and bigger over the next couple of months leading into preseason and the regular season.
And let's be real. If we're talking about our target demographic, teens across North America, they just want to see Jettis play so they can see him dance, so they can see the whole bit, right? So everybody's happy. We got it's a beautiful thing, and now we got a chance to see him play with a brand new quarterback. Whoever they end up using, it's going to be a new quarterback.
Look, here's my big take about just contracts in general. I don't care, especially for the bigger markets who like cry wolf, like, oh, we don't have money, looking at the Yankees right now with their ownership. But it's like, you guys are a big market team, or really, if you own a sports team, you have enough money to pay the player whatever he wants. You really shouldn't be in these massive negotiations. If you want to make your fans happy and you want to bring in more money, just pay them as much as you can. It really shouldn't matter what the payroll is, as long as you know that you can make that money back, which you will because you're signing a fan favorite player to a large deal. I don't get why more teams are like so hesitant to pay the players what they deserve. It's like, oh, but we have budgetary reasons. Sir, you own a team. You are plenty wealthy. You can pay this player what he deserves.
In the NFL. You own a team in the NFL, okay? Well, Murphy Bros, it looks like you asking for a shout out. There's your shout out. Thanks for joining from YouTube. We got a bunch of new people here today for the giveaway, but maybe comment, question, throw something in the chat. And Zach's dog, what about that?
You never know. Maybe she'll type PTR and she'll win the $10 gift card, stealing it from all of you, but you never know.
What would she choose? That's the question. So next we have Brandon Ayuk. We got T. Higgins. Obviously, we got CD. Who do you think? Which one of those three happens next?
I'm going to say that out of the three, I think it's most likely that we see T. Higgins come next. Actually, I feel like Ayuk could be traded at any moment. I feel like they're Ayuk and the Niners are on weird terms, and they pretty much already drafted his replacement. They're just kind of waiting for the right package. So I'm not sure he even gets an extension before the season begins. And then CeeDee Lamb, while I think he ends up with the largest contract out of all wide receivers, Dallas is already in a financial bind with Dak Prescott and Micah Parsons. So they're going to really figure out, it's like, how much do we really need to invest? Excuse me. How much do we really need to invest in CeeDee Lamb to make him happy? And I'm telling you, that number is going to end up being higher than Justin Jefferson, what he just got extended for. And that leaves T. Higgins. I know the Bengals and him aren't on the best terms, but I feel like that relationship can be mended. And I feel like it's more likely that, if we have like a sign-in trade kind of deal, I think it happens to T. Higgins before it happens to Brandon Ayuk. I think most people would consider T. Higgins slightly better than Brandon Ayuk, so maybe his market's a little bit better for a sign-in trade kind of thing. So I'm going to say that T. Higgins gets it first, then CeeDee Lamb, and then Brandon Ayuk if he does get one this season.
So you think Higgins gets it without being traded?
I think there's a chance he gets it without being traded, but honestly, considering their ownership has notoriously let players go, at the best of their abilities, I think, though, this is a Bengals team that is the best talent-wise it's been in God knows how long. I mean, I can't remember a Bengals team like this being talked about as seriously since we had, like, Andy Dalton, AJ Green, what was, Chad Ochocinco, what they had left of him, really. This is easily the best team since then on both ends of the ball, I'd even argue. But you want to keep that offensive trio together of Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. I mean, keeping a core three together is essential, and I really think there's a good chance that T. Higgins does get extended before the season starts. You really want to keep that going. You see a lot of teams going with quarterback, 2 wide receivers, like their main core at this point. You have the Dolphins doing it, the Eagles doing it. Like, it's definitely becoming more of a trend, and I think the Bengals are going to fall in line. They're going to pay T. Higgins what he deserves, and he's going to be a Bengal long-term.
See, I totally disagree. I think Higgins is on his way out. I think CeeDee Lamb gets more than Jefferson. I think Ayuk and Higgins don't have a chance at getting that level, but they do get paid. Mm-hmm. I think they both get traded and then sign a contract with their new team. I think that's the only way. The Bengals have to pay Jamar Chase next year, and they're not going to want to pin up, such a high percentage at just one position in order to do that. Now, it would be smart for them to lock up T. Higgins and lock up Chase, and you're set kind of on the offensive side of the ball. Although they did lose their running back Joe Mixon this offseason, so got to figure out there. But Joe Burrow will be able to sling it to anybody that's around. But I do think he ends up getting traded. Somebody else pays him. Both him and Ayuk get traded, and I think you're right. Once they get traded, that's when the big payday comes. Not as big as CeeDee Lamb or Jettas. So. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, that the NFL is about to really start cooking up just as the NBA Finals ends, and there we go. Also, a note today, not confirmed, but Darren Waller looks like he is going to be retiring. A divorce must have really hit him hard. So, what do you think the prospects for Malik Nabers now being the number 1 receiver for the Giants? If he probably was going to be anyway, even if Darren Waller was around, but. Can he, as a rookie, step up and, let's just say, not a strong quarterback group in New York, can Malik Nabers step up and be a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL?
I feel like top 10 is a bit bold, especially with the quarterbacks that he has with him. I think he's going to show a lot of talent. I think he's going to show a lot of promise. I think New York has just drafted their best wide receiver since Odell Beckham Jr. I don't think that's really a question. I'm very excited to see Malik Neighbors and what he does this season, but because of just the team around him, not just the quarterback, just the entire team around him, I'm not really excited for him other than his fantasy season. I think he'll do good in fantasy. I don't think it's going to really produce, like that status of like an elite top 10 wide receiver immediately. I think there's a better chance that Marvin Harrison Jr. becomes a top 10 wide receiver year one than Malik Neighbors. And maybe call that a very, very cold, very lukewarm take right there because he was drafted higher. But it's just such a disparity between Kyler Murray and Daniel Jones. I don't think that's really questioned. So I'm going to say Malik Neighbors, he's not going to reach top 10. If he's lucky, he'll reach top 15 after the season, but that's going to take a lot from Daniel Jones to make him look as good as we know he can be.
All right. So with Darren Waller out, what are you looking for as far as the top 5 tight ends for fantasy football this year?
Ooh, best tight ends in fantasy football this year. I feel like there's a few guys that you're just kind of like, honestly, there's 4 guys that come to mind that are immediate, like, this is the guy I want as my tight end. That being, of course, Travis Kelce, still playing at an elite level whenever he's on the field. He's dealt with a little bit of injuries, but he's not first-round talent to me anymore. He's not a first-rounder, but I could see a lot of people taking him second, third round as their tight end, get their primary target out of the way. Then you got to go with George Kittle. He had a bit of a down year in fantasy last year. You could argue that, but he's always a fantastic tight end in fantasy. Speaking of consistency, it feels like this is the end of the big 3 that you kind of expected. Mark Andrews, when he's healthy, he's a beast at tight end. I'm putting him at number 3. Number 4 is someone who a lot of people now know as a top guy, TJ Hawkinson. He's got to be up there. TJ Hawkinson had a great year in fantasy last year, had a great year the year before. I'm expecting him to continue his dominance and really show that he's one of the elite tight ends in the NFL. And then finally, I know it's a bit concerning because I think this is a sophomore season, but give me Sam Laporta at the 5th spot. I mean, he had a phenomenal rookie campaign. I think he does continue it. Ben Johnson stayed with the Lions Ben Johnson stayed with the Lions to keep coaching their offense. He didn't leave for a head coaching gig, so that makes me feel even more optimistic about Sam Laporta. So those are the top 5 tight ends I would want in fantasy. And then at like 6, I'll put like Dallas Goedert. But even then, you really want those top 5 guys. I feel like those are the 5 guys that you could win a fantasy championship with this upcoming season.
All right. So real quick, congratulations in the chat. I don't know if it's Polda or Po11da, but winning the $10 gift card. Nice job. Anybody else want to throw their tight end rankings, top 5 in the chat? Please do so. Mm-hmm. I like the names you have. I think I'm going Laporta number 1. I just think
wow. To be fair, I was not really putting them in any order. If you asked me to rank them,
okay.
If you asked me to rank them, I'm probably going to go Hawkinson number 1. I think Hawkinson actually has the most upside.
Okay.
We go Hawkinson, Kelce, Laporta, and then honestly, it's a coin flip. I'm going to go Andrews, then George Kittle.
Okay. I'm going to go a little bit differently. I like Laporta. I just like his quarterback a little better than Hawkinson. Hawkinson, a little bit of a question at the quarterback position, although on the other side, they get to throw to Jefferson. So, he'll probably have some open routes. But I like Laporta. I'm going to keep Kelce at 2, although I'm really questioning that. I like Andrews 3. I like Kittle 4. And I think I like McBride 5. So I think he has
okay.
If we can find Kyler Murray a little bit more time to throw, you're adding, such a great weapon in Marvin Harrison Jr. That's going to do nothing but help McBride. So I think he has a sneaky chance to jump up kind of like Laporta did and like he did last year at the end of the season. So another giveaway in the chat. So throw a number 0 to 125, I think is what it is. And we'll see if we can get a winner for that. But I do think the tight end position is getting back to multiple options, not just 2 or 3 and then the field. I think we're getting a couple new options there. And, you're losing Darren Waller, which started this conversation, but You have a lot more dynamic options coming up, a lot more athletes, and you have the 6 tight ends that they have in Las Vegas. One of them could step up. Who knows? But yeah, all good. Next, let's do a Boston Celtics all-time draft. So NBA Finals start Thursday. We're going to talk about the finals in a second. One of the most storied franchises really in all of sports. No offense, Zach, to your 76ers. It's the Boston Celtics, the number of banners they have, the number of all-time players that have played there. Let's do an all-time draft. So we each get to pick a point guard, a shooting guard, a small forward, a power forward, and a center. And let's see who wins. So it looks like, am I up first?
Yes, because I had the first pick with the Mavericks. You're going to get the first pick with the Celtics here.
Well, it's easy for me. Number one, I'm not even going to think about it too long. I'm going to go with Larry Legend. Larry Bird
at your small forward,
and I'm going to put him at small forward. Yeah.
Okay. So now at number 2, so many legends I can choose from, but you got pretty much, one of the greatest right there with Larry Bird. I am going to go, you know what? Give me the 08 core. Give me Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett here. I'm going to take those 2 back to back. I'm going to put up my 3 and 4 for now. Paul Pierce might move, but give me Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett back to back.
That just makes my team the old team and your team the young team automatically. Because I'm going Bill Russell at center next.
Of course. If I was thinking like if I don't take Bill Russell, he's getting Bill Russell. If I don't take Kevin Garnett, he's taking Kevin Garnett.
I actually was like, oh damn, I took Larry Bird. I should have taken Bill Russell first overall. Okay, so Bill Russell at center. So I need a power forward, I need a shooting guard, I need a point guard. So interesting. Let's go. God, I can't avoid being the old team. I just have to do it. Give me Bob Cousy at point guard.
Bob Cousy. I mean, it's a good pick. I mean, just because it's
there
old,
are no bad picks. We could have 6 teams drafted and still all have good teams.
Seriously, yeah. I really don't think you can go wrong with just about anyone. But, definitely a little bit lighter for right now. And I'm trying to think. Do I go guard? Well, I have to go. I pretty much have to go guard and probably a center. There's a few really good. There's a few really good guys from those '80s teams I can go with, but you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go. So I'm gonna start with my 5. I'm gonna get Robert Parrish.
Nice, from Shreveport, Louisiana. Thank you.
Yep. Of course, you're a Louisiana guy, of course. And then guard, it's a little interesting because we've gotten so many great ones out of the not so many, but we've got some of the bigger names out of the way. And it's I don't really want to take Rajon Rondo in a draft. But you know what? I'm gonna save point guard. Let me go shooting guard. Give me Sam Jones. Give me Sam Jones at shooting guard.
All right. So I am down to my final 2. At small forward. At power forward. This may be a controversial pick, but give me Jason Tatum.
Wow.
He's had a lot of success within the Celtics organization. I think this is the year. I don't know. I'm picking for this comment to say this is the year he wins the championship for Boston. Later, when we have our picks, I may pick Dallas. That's how much I'm waffling on this whole thing, which is insane. But okay. So I have a shooting guard left, and just to make my team a little younger, not super younger, and I guarantee you there's a handful of potentially better shooters on here. But like we said, you can't go bad with this unless you pick Kendrick Perkins. So I'm going to choose Ray Allen as my shooting guard.
I like that. That's a great pick. Now, point guard, couple of fun options. A couple of guys. A lot of older players, but honestly. Maybe it's not the best pick, but honestly, to me, it's the most fun pick I could make, and I want to have fun with this team. Give me Isaiah Thomas at point guard to round out this draft.
Really?
Prime
all-time Celtic.
Isaiah Thomas at his look. I'm not going for the best team. I'm going for the most fun team here at this point. I
Yeah.
think Isaiah Thomas is probably one of the most fun players I have ever watched in a basketball game. And look, he may not be the best player on the court. He's not even close to the tallest player on the court, but he'll be a lot of fun to watch. And I'm telling you, at his best, he could hit pretty much any shot. So give me Isaiah Thomas round the shots. Have a little fun.
Yeah, yeah. So whose team do you like better? I got Kuzi, Ray Allen, Larry Bird, Jason Tatum, Bill Russell. I love that team. And Zach's got Isaiah Thomas, the other one, Sam Jones, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Robert Parrish. So throw it in the chat. Who do you like better? We also had a Slay Pixel with a question. Do you think Kobe would be considered a GOAT?
Honestly, I thought very hard about who I put in the tier of like greatest of all time. Kobe is not one of those players. He is not one of my GOAT picks. To me, if you're telling me to make a greatest of all time pick, there's 4 players that immediately come to mind where I could make an argument as to why they're the greatest of all time. That is LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Wilt Chamberlain. To me, those are the 4 players that I personally can make an argument for. Most people would only limit it to 3 and not include Wilt on that because they say he played against plumbers. So Kobe is not on that list, though. To me, Kobe's in my top 10 all time, but he's not high on my top 10 all time. He's pretty low on it. So
I'm probably adding Bill Russell to those 4, and Kobe's right there at 6.
Ooh,
I mean, he's got to be way up there. Just because, I mean, look, a lot of you could argue Shaq too, right in that spot, and then you're just getting into the old Laker argument of whose team was it, Shaq or Kobe? But in the end, I do think they're right there. They're just not quite in the upper echelon. So, and we're definitely not going to adjudicate the Michael Jordan versus LeBron James today. We have that conversation way too much.
We could do that for a couple hours, so let's not.
Exactly. So let's talk about the NBA Finals. So we got the Dallas Mavericks and the Boston Celtics. Boston, the hot team all year, constantly, essentially from day one, in the first spot in the entire NBA as far as record goes. But you have the Dallas Mavericks who got hot at the perfect time with about 16 to 18 games left in the regular season, and they've run straight through the Western Conference, which was supposed to be highly competitive and all these teams who could do it. And, they ran right through Minnesota, ran right through OKC. Probably their toughest series was the Clippers, if we're being honest. So, so what is your gut feeling right now? I am waffling, going back and forth. I want to pick the Celtics, but this Mavs team scares me.
Yeah, I feel like this is regardless of who wins, this should be a really good series. This isn't going to be, these 2 teams look so good and that's going to be like a 5-game series. We're not going to get that. I think this will go 6-7 games pretty easily. I think it's going to be back and forth early in the series as well. My gut's going with the Mavericks. I really think this is Luka's year. I think, they've got the right team around him, the right players around him. And I feel like, everything's just coming together the way that they need it to. Celtics, they'll be back here. I think eventually Tatum and Brown, that core does get 1 ring. But I feel like against Luka and Kyrie and all of them, it's just how they are playing together, especially defensively. They've really impressed me over the last couple of series. I am leaning the Mavericks, although I do think it's going to be a long series. Give me the Mavs. I'm going to say Mavs in 7. It should be a very good series, but I'm going to say the Mavericks come out on top.
Yeah, so if this group of the Celtics don't do it this year, they're just not going to do it. You're playing the 5 seed in the West. You've had all year and really all playoffs, you've been without Porzingis. You've been able to still get by, never losing more than 1 game in a series. You have to make this happen this year. This isn't like 2 years ago when you played Golden State. You were the up and comer. They were the team that had all the championships, and I wouldn't say they were quite yet on their way back down as they are now, but it was a long shot for the Celtics to win that series. This one you have to win. If you're the Celtics, you have the better coach, and we could discuss maybe if you believe that that's true. I do think Mazzulla is the better coach here, and so going against Jason Kidd, You have to make something happen on defense. You have to disrupt. I think it also comes down to the second best player on each team. So it's Kyrie Irving against Jaylen Brown. Who steps up on both sides of the ball to make that happen? Kyrie should be the one. He's got more experience overall. Jaylen Brown's got a lot, though. So we're not talking about somebody that's totally inexperienced. I like those two. I like that matchup. Not to say that they'll necessarily go one-on-one against each other, but who steps up as the number two? Because Tatum has to try to match Luka. He probably can't quite match him, but from the defensive end, he has to match him. And in offense, he's got to be close. But it's that number two spot that I think is what wins the series.
Yeah. So I
didn't make my pick.
Yes, make your pick first. Make your pick.
All right. So ultimately, the problem if it goes 7 is that Game 7's in Boston Garden or TD Garden. When I was growing up, it was Boston Garden. So, but Boston can lose Game 7s, at home like they did last year against the Heat. So I really, really will be rooting for the Celtics. That is just like that's who my dad rooted for as a kid. The Luka prediction is already dead, so I don't really need to root against them. But Dallas is technically in the Pelicans division, and I just have always rooted against other teams in the division having any sort of success, even though I know NBA divisions don't matter. So I would love for it to be Boston in Game 7, but I do think Dallas wins it in Game 7 in Boston. And Bill Simmons cries all the way home. I don't even think this is an interesting question. I'll ask you as a Celtics fan, is this even a joyous win if they get it, or is it just relief because all year they're supposed to have done this?
I mean, that's a really good question. I feel like, of course, I'm not a Celtics fan, so trying to put myself in that perspective, it's definitely joyous because they've been talking up this core, talking up this team can win a championship, and it's going to be very satisfying if they do it. It's well, finally, yes, we were right. We were proven right. These guys can win a championship. Our coach is good. Our team is good. Finally, we made it over the hurdle once again. It's been a little while for them, but I wouldn't be shocked. I'm sure a small part of them, if they do win the championship, would just be relieved, though. I mean, to be they were on this level all year long, but when they slipped up, they really slipped up and they looked really bad. And it's because you'll have games, it's all right, yeah, they went on a 10-game winning streak, but then they got blown out by 30 in the game that they lost. And it's well, it's a little concerning right there. So, yes, they're going to be celebrating, but there's got to be a little bit of relief if the Celtics do end up winning the championship.
So what non-All-Star do you think is the biggest pivotal player, coach, whatever, in this series?
Yeah, I was thinking about a few players, but I'm going to go with PJ Washington out of all players. Number 3 scorer on the Mavericks so far. He's had pretty solid rebounding numbers this postseason. He's averaging nearly a steal and a block a game. He can, if he's able to step that up, that could be really important, especially defensively. It's a Mavericks team that a lot of people are maybe they're not the best defensively. Anyone can help with that. He's averaging almost 37 minutes a game anyway, so we're going to be seeing a lot of him, and I think he's going to make a serious impact on this series, whether he comes to play or not.
Okay, you want to name one for the Celtics as well?
Oh, for the Celtics. For the Celtics, it sucks because Derek White was an All-Star. Was he an All-Star this year? I'm not going to go with Derek White. That's pretty much the easy answer. Really, yeah. I know. Was Porzingis an All-Star this year?
I don't think they both were.
I really got to check because I really feel regardless if he's an All-Star or not, Kristaps Porzingis is the X factor for the Celtics team whenever he does come back. Not only in terms of what he can bring to the Celtics, but in terms of making sure that everything gels right when he does come back. Sometimes players get into a groove without a certain player and play up to what their ability could be, and then as soon as that player comes back, they return down to earth a little bit, and they have to adjust to sharing the court, or really it can be any sport, sharing the field, sharing the court, sharing the ice. They have to really adjust to having that player back in and having a reduced role from what they were expected to do. So I think his return is going to really make or break the series for the Celtics. if he comes back and they gel just as well as they have all season, which honestly you should expect them to, Celtics will have a much better chance to win the championship. But if he comes back and for some reason things don't click like they used to, it's going to be trouble in paradise for the Celtics.
Yeah, so here are my two. For me, for the Celtics, it's Joe Mazzulla. You've gotten here, you've gotten to the moment. You have to outcoach Jason Kidd. You just have to. And it's a big thing. Nobody has been able to stop this team. Luka's resurgence on defense, Kyrie doing whatever is needed. He can score 3 points in the first half and 30 in the second. You got to be able to combat that. This is your time to graduate to the next level. Okay. You have had all the talent that you could have, and now it's time to actually make something happen from your perspective. Calling timeouts at the right time, bringing guys in at the right time, schemes, throwing different stuff at Luka so it never looks the same each time he comes down the court, and getting everything you can out of your superstars. So for me, the Celtics, it's easy. It's Joe Mazzulla. For the Mavericks, Derek Lively, okay? Rookie, yes, but I think this is a huge opportunity. You cannot lose the battle to Al Horford. You just can't. He could literally be Derek Lively's father as far as age, okay? So you have to step up. The Mavericks have led the NBA by an astronomical number on alley-oops in the playoffs, and they got to keep that going, both from Kyrie to Lively as well as from Luka to Lively, and I think they do it. And I think he's a huge point as well, because you have to make that happen. You're almost 20 years younger than the player you're going against. I know Horford's got a lot of experience, a lot of savvy for what needs to happen. But Lively, you got to stick to the athleticism that you can bring to take control in this series when it comes to the paint.
Yeah, I mean, Lively was one of the guys I was looking at as well. So I'm right there with Lively.
All right, so we both say Mavericks in 7. So let's just say the NBA, after having a very lackluster conference finals round, wants a big NBA finals.
Let's hope.
It's been a little bit, I think, since we've had a good back and forth, just punch after punch, NBA finals. So maybe the last one was the Toronto series when they won in 2019. So let's go there. Let's hope that we get that. We don't have game 1 until Thursday, but game 1 will happen Thursday. The next Pass the Rock is on Friday, so it's going to be perfect. We'll get to react to that. Okay, let's go to you, Zach. You got some NBA games for us to play if you want to share.
Yes, let me just make sure my screen will present correctly. Share that one. Okay.
Boom.
And let me see if I can. No, it doesn't really matter. All right, so this is connect 2 teammates through a common teammate. We get 3 tries, extra points for rarity. Today's 2 players seem to be Kevin Durant and Giannis Antetokounmpo. I already have a name that I'm thinking of, but do you have anyone that you're thinking of?
So we have to use common teammates to connect them within 3 spots, right? That's what we're saying?
Yes, I think so. But I think I have one that connects them in 1 spot.
Oh, we'll go for it then.
All right. Well, Jay Crowder. Not quite. Really?
So he's playing with Giannis now.
But he was on the Suns. I thought he played with Kevin Durant.
I think Durant, he played for the Suns at the end of the Chris Paul era. I don't think he actually played with the Kevin Durant era.
Darn.
Oh, so you have to directly connect them. So this isn't like the Kevin Bacon thing where you go from this player to that player.
Yeah. Okay.
I would. So Giannis, okay, I can tell you. So Drew Holiday never played with Kevin Durant. Mm-hmm. Did either of the Lopez brothers or did the Brooke Lopez ever play with Kevin Durant?
No, I don't think Brooke Lopez was still in net when Kevin Durant was in town. Because I feel like it would have been a big 4 there instead of a big 3. So
right. And then you have the Golden State teams, or then I start thinking of Harden never played with Giannis, and trying to think of those old OKC teams. Like Perkins, did
Yeah.
Perkins play with
Yeah,
Giannis? Like for a
I'm
cup of coffee?
pretty sure Serge Ibaka and Bismack Biyombo did not end up playing with Giannis.
Yeah. Shoot. Now
Hmm.
I'm thinking of like role players on the Bucks that might have also played with Durant.
I know that's kind of where I am at this point.
And
Huh.
Durant's been playing forever. Like, did Nick Collison play with Giannis at some point?
I don't think that's an awful guess. You want to try Nick Collison?
Yeah, why not?
All right, Nick Collison. Not
No,
quite.
one
left.
All right.
Okay. Huh. So Durant's played with OKC, Golden State, Brooklyn, and the Suns. It's had plenty of teammates, where Giannis probably had less teammates. So I feel like we got to go with the angle of Giannis to Durant, because Giannis
it's probably some random Nets Nets player. Slay says Serge Ibaka.
Serge, I don't think Serge ever played. I don't think Serge ever played with
Milwaukee.
Yeah, he never played in Milwaukee.
Yeah,
I can't picture Serge Ibaka in Milwaukee.
Connaughton.
I still like the idea of Robin Lopez that you brought up earlier.
Okay, you think maybe they might have snuck in together?
I'm not the most confident that it is, but I'm willing to do that as our last resort guess.
Okay. My only other thought is like a backup shooting guard that might have played with Giannis and then ended up on the Suns or Brooklyn. Like a Pat Connaughton type guy, not a ton of minutes, but pretty successful. But I can't come up with anybody. So if you want to go with Lopez, we can.
Let's try Robin Lopez.
Robin Lopez. Sorry.
Yep. Robin Lopez, please. No, it was Serge Ibaka as the most common one.
Oh, campaign.
Serge Ibaka was. Oh my goodness, Serge Ibaka was the most common. That's crazy.
All right, Slay, you're right. You were
all
right.
All right. Well, let's try this game. List the top 10 postseason points leaders from the 1990s. We have 3 minutes to guess. So, are we ready?
Let's go. Yep.
All right, let's just start. Michael Jordan.
Where we start.
Michael Jordan, number 1.
Yeah. Give me the mailman, Karl Malone. Oh, you can go Scottie Pippen. That's fine.
I'll go him after Karl Malone, number 2, and I think Scottie Pippen has to be up here. Number 3.
Give me Charles Barkley.
Oh, he's got to be on here. Number 7.
Yeah. All right. Reggie Miller.
I don't know if Reggie Miller is going to be on here. I think he might be a little bit. Oh no, I'm wrong.
9.
I'm wrong. Reggie Miller, number 9, very impressive. Could Stockton be on here?
Maybe. I don't know for points though.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
All right, it's not him.
I'm thinking
Olajuwon.
I'm thinking Olajuwon and Ewing as well. You
can I'm gonna start with Gary Payton and then I'll go Olajuwon. Gary Payton, not on here, I don't think. So Hakeem Olajuwon, number 4. And then Ewing. Patrick Ewing.
Not Daniel Ewing.
Number 6 for Patrick Ewing.
Somebody guessed Clyde Drexler. I like that guess because of Portland and then Houston. That's
a great guess. Clyde Drexler.
Yeah.
Number 5. So we're missing 8 and 10.
8 and 10. In the 90s. I'm thinking of I'm trying to go by teams. What about not Sean King.
Sean Kemp.
Sean Kemp, sorry.
Sean Kemp, not on the list.
No. All right, so that means nobody from Seattle did anything.
Doesn't look like it. No.
No, the Lakers weren't. Whoa, Shaq. What about Shaq?
Oh. If I can spell. Not on the list.
He was probably mid-90s when he got going. So
yeah.
In the playoffs, I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to think. The Bulls. let's see. I'm trying to think of the matchups. I'm trying to get to like 97, 98, who was in the finals of
I mean
that
that was part of the Bulls Jazz
Bulls
duology.
Jazz,
Bulls Sonic.
Bulls Sonics, Bulls Lakers, Bulls Trailblazers. So yeah, I think we got all those guys.
Yeah.
Indiana, New York. It wouldn't have been Olajuwon played. Yeah. I mean, we could go Penny Hardaway, but if Shaq isn't there, I don't think Penny's going to be there.
I doubt he's here, but I can't even. I can.
Who did we miss?
We missed Jeff Hornacek.
Oh my God!
Wait, we guessed Shaq. And it was Shaq.
I wonder if you clicked Shaquille Thompson.
I guess I clicked the wrong one. So we were so close. We got all but Jeff Hornacek. Wow.
Nice. Let's do one more game, and then we'll close it out with some college football.
Yeah, let's do the 25. Player path. We have one try to guess. In which order did Josh Hart play on these teams? So
this one I know. Yeah.
I know you know it, so you'll have to, fact check me here. He was drafted by the Lakers, I believe. Yep. And then he was with the New Orleans Pelicans.
Yeah, he was in the trade. Yeah,
he was traded in the
AD trade,
Anthony Davis trade. And then he ended up, it might have been a trade. I honestly forget how he got there, but he got to Portland. And then he was recently in a trade to New York.
Yeah.
So I think these are the four. So let's see if
he was part of the AD trade, then he was part of the CJ McCollum trade, and then he's ended up in the Knicks.
Trades.
Boom.
Completely correct.
Awesome.
I got it.
Share it, baby. Share it.
I got it.
Nice. Awesome. So a lot of cool games on the NBA app there. So we should check that out a little more often. Maybe we'll go back on Friday and do some games with them. So that was a lot of fun. All right. Let's get down to why you're here, Zach, because the gameplay trailer for College Football 25 is out. It looks amazing. It was accompanied by a 30-page document that explained a lot of the different features and pieces that they're doing. So what features described last week are you most excited about College Football 25?
Man, I mean, to be fair, there's just the fact that we're having the game itself back is like, I mean, that just feels like one big feature, that it's not a Madden reskin and we're getting a college football game. I mean, that alone is huge. I feel like a lot of people are like highlighting like the little things, like they're leaving out, like we're not going to start with online connected dynasty, so like no crossplay dynasty to start, and there's no mascot mode, like those like little things, but it's like
right.
I think some of the gameplay changes are super interesting, especially you can customize the length of your primary route on any play. Yeah. So if you have a guy who, like you're 6 yards away from a first down, your guy's running a 5-yard route, you can extend it to 10 yards, and then boom, he gets the first down without having to break a tackle. That's going to be huge. But I think the biggest thing that
really quickly before you move on, that is an awesome audible thing, because I hate when you get it and you're like, yeah, I can audible to a slant, I can audible to an out, I can audible to whatever, but I need it to be the right length. And generally the out is only going to give you a 5-yard option. You need to get 8 yards. So I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. But I think the game-changing feature that they've added, that I'm going to have to learn it. I'm not a great Madden player as is, so I hope that I fare better with this. The stick shift, but where you can like move the right stick in the direction of a player that you want to control mid-play, and that allows you to switch on the fly. That is going to be such a powerful feature in the middle of games, especially on defense. When you're covering one guy, but you see he's throwing to another, you basically get the read done, you shift to him, then you run in front of the route, boom, easy interception. I think it's going to make a lot of the top players look even better than they already do. And for the newer players, it's something that you're really going to have to learn before getting good at this game. Something that I'm really going to have to get used to and really going to have to learn, but I'm super excited to do that. Other than that, the only other major feature that I'm super excited for is that every single college, all 134 FBS teams, have their own dedicated playbook designed around how they play. So you get the flexbone the flexbone offense, the triple option offense. You get dominant run games. You get dominant passing games. You get West Coast offense. You get like any kind of offense that you want to run. There's a team out there built for those. So, like for instance, I know for me, West Virginia, I know a big thing with West Virginia's offense right now. Not only is it deep passing, it's our mobile quarterback and running a mobile quarterback dual threat kind of play style. So you're going to see me online with West Virginia's quarterback running for 10 yards with him instead of going for like a dump down pass. I mean, that's just, you can play to every single team's strengths in the way that you want them to. And it's going to be a lot of fun to see what every team's playbook is like.
Yeah. No, I think that's awesome. You'll also be able to think about, okay, what kind of defense am I facing and what kind of playbook change do I want to make? Does it impact the type of players I have, the running backs, the wide receivers, the quarterback, all of the intricacies? It's like they're taking the intricacies of Dynasty and putting it into the entire game. I love the fact that they have all those different abilities for individual players as well. It's like over 80 different abilities, as well as I'll call it the injury system, but essentially, like if you have a guy that's a running back that's kind of has taken a lot of hits to the lower section of his body, you're not going to be able to do 30 carries or else he is going to get hurt. So there's a lot more tinkering to be done with how you do your playoffs. I mean, how you do what plays you run, how do you do the substitutions? So if your guy does withstand some injury or fatigue on his lower body, how do I get other people in to run the ball as well? Because I'm not going to be able to run him 30 times. Maybe I normally run with him 30 times. So the intricacies of Dynasty, the things you have to think about, they've just added to. And I know a lot of people don't buy these games to play Dynasty anymore. That's what I will be doing. But they've woven in a lot of strategy that you really have to take into account. And that's just exciting. And beyond all of that, just seeing the gameplay trailer and seeing USC Stadium and Michigan and Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, and obviously they've reincorporated the home field advantage piece. And you're ranked. Like if you play in the SEC, you're probably going to have a higher rank than Arkansas State's home field advantage. And all of that is a beautiful thing, and it will make it that much more exciting when you take a lower level team, get them into the 12-team playoff, let's remember, and be able to win, as well as if you're a big team playing a smaller team, you're going to have advantages above and beyond just the differences in your total rating to be able to do that. So this is going to be awesome. So my next question to you is, has there ever been a more anticipated sports game ever?
I don't think there's ever been a more anticipated sports game, period. I mean, this is a game that has been over a decade in the making, basically, from when, all the different lawsuits came with the NCAA and like the name and image likeness. And now that that's finally all been settled, and there's now actually a salary cap in NCAA, like in just athletics now, there's a $22 million salary cap now, which is crazy. I never thought we'd see a salary cap in college, but there is a salary cap now. But the fact that we've gotten to the point where these players' name and image likeness can be used properly with an actual contract, every player that signs up gets a free copy of the game plus like $600, and it's like, what? Going from the lower guys to the best of the best, that's a fine deal. I'm sure some guys are getting bigger money for it, but it's like for your baseline guy at like ECU, it's a great deal. So I don't think there's a more anticipated sports game. I think you should be asking, has there ever been a more anticipated game, period? Because I feel like very few games in general have this amount of hype. Most recently, the most recent game I can think of that was hyped up to this kind of level would probably be Elden Ring. And that's a fantastic game if you have not played it. Love Elden Ring. I still have yet to beat it, to be honest. But every time I go into Elden Ring, I'm having a great time. I look forward to what I'm going to do next. And it's the same kind of feeling I'm getting from this college football game. I've never been more excited for a single player mode like Dynasty. after its long-awaited return. I'm so excited to dive into Dynasty, build up. Build up. Let's see, Eastern Carolina or Temple or just some. Basically, I want to build up a G5 school into like a superstar squad, and I also want to build up West Virginia into the national powerhouse I know it can be. So it's so exciting. And it's going to be really cool to see Penn State fans finally live out their dreams of winning a national championship. It'll be really good for them as well because they're never going to win one in real life. So lots of fun to be had with Dynasty. Lots of fun to be had with College Football 25. I am super excited for it.
Yeah, no, I think Elden Ring is a good choice there. I think when they moved MLB The Show to be eligible on Xbox and Switch, that was a big move, but not like this. This is like not everybody from my age who, grew up and in college played the college football, the EA Sports game, and then had to give it up for 10 years. And now we're so everybody from mid 40s all the way down to, probably 7-8-year-olds at this point, and everybody in between. The 7-8-year-olds don't know what they were missing because they've never played it. And then people your age might have gotten a taste of it, really young, but now you're getting to jump in and play. My Dynasty wish also, and I love this on NCAA Football 14, where you could start as an offensive coordinator and you would just call the offensive plays for your team, but you had to start with a lower level team and then work your way up, not only to becoming a head coach at a small school and then a head coach at a big school. I'm excited about that. I like the idea of taking a small team like Louisiana Tech or whatever and making them a powerhouse. But I also like, let's be a coach on one side of the ball, get really good at that, and then have to incorporate, once you're the head coach, both sides of the ball. That's what I'm going to be jumping on. That's what I used to do with NCAA 14, and excited to do that for this one. So we're not even talking about playing online. And
I know. Oh my God. Yeah. And I mean, like, it's not going to be a mode that I'm going, like, it's going to be a couple of weeks before I go into Ultimate Team. But having a college Ultimate Team, yes, we don't love Madden Ultimate Team. Yes, Madden Ultimate Team is usually pretty complicated with just how it works. But there are people who love Ultimate Team, and it's going to have a lot more college legends. I mean, once Deion Sanders comes out in that Ultimate Team mode, it's going to break everything. So it'll be a lot of fun. And I believe it is confirmed you can start as an offensive or defensive coordinator. I might start as an offensive coordinator. See how I do first year at whatever school, and then get hired as a head coach wherever. Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders, here I come. Yep. And coach the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders to a national championship. It's going to be a lot of fun.
There you go. Yeah, my last iteration, I was the offensive coordinator at Indiana. We won 2 Rose Bowls, and then I got the offensive coordinator job at Alabama, and then eventually had a head coaching job at a small school. So there's a lot of variety. You get to play with a lot of different teams. You get to essentially see all that. So, all right, we just gave away our last giveaway, so I think we're going to sign off. We will be back this Friday. More giveaways. We're going at 3 p.m. this Friday. Our next PTR, it'll be after Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Jesse will finally be back after being in abroad for 3 weeks. He'll be coming back to join us. So we're excited. We'll play some more NBA games. I'm sure we got a bunch of other fun and giveaways and everything else. So join us then at twitch.tv/LostTribeTV, where we always are. This is Pass the Rock, Brian and Zach, and we'll see you later. Jiggy on the track.